What's going on, guys? Rob A here, and welcome back to what is hopefully the last part of our three-part series on the BoomCo Rapid Madness Blaster. As you can see, we've got it mostly, base coated here, I guess would be the term. The majority of our colors are here. It's really going to be a matter of actually just doing all of the more intricate, I should say, detailing. Like here, you can see all the parts where there's overspray or underspray, where we just need to kind of fill in all the little bits. And then, of course, do all the detail painting, like all, the stress marks and everything like that. So that's going to be the main focus of this part here. And then hopefully we'll just be able to finish up the blaster. So we're going to go ahead and do just clean up the base coat, and then we are going to, I do apologize, by the way, for the shaky camera. It's just kind of the best setup I could find. It's just, it is what it is. But anyway, as I was saying, we're going to clean up the base coat here, get that all settled, and then once that is done, we're going to do a black wash over the whole thing, and then we're going to do the stressing, the hand-painted stressing. So, then we should be pretty much done. I've got most of the accessories all finished. I just need a black wash on the shield panels that go up on here, and then of course the this guy also needs a black wash that's going to go on the front here, and that's going to look basically like that. So we're going to get this all taken care of and just do the little detail work and stuff like that, and then black wash the whole thing, do the silver stressing, and then maybe a clear coat, and that's it. And then we'll be done, and we'll be able to move on with our lives. So let's go ahead and kind of get this started right along here. I was actually thinking about this. We've got this big section of black right here, and I'd like to add a little pop of color to this, but I was thinking, let's add some blue, and I've got this sapphire blue here. I don't know how well it still works. We've also got this Aegean blue, which is a little brighter. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to start with the darker blue and kind of see how that looks, because it is, it's an Optimus Prime gun, so we got to have, red and blue in there. Make it more official, right? So we're going to get ourselves a clean-ish plate. I reuse plates a lot, as you can see. So this is my cleanish plate. We're going to shake our paint. And then we're going to add some color. So I also just kind of fill you all in. I'm going to add color, like these are, like aside from straight detailing, this is going to be basically the big blocks of color that I'm going to add to this without spraying. So the back of the, the back of the handle here, I'm probably going to add maybe a flat black to this bit. Here, we're going to add some color here, possibly a similar color to this, like the bronze kind of color to here, and then of course the blue on here, and I think that should pretty much do it. So we're going to kind of see how that all goes down. So we'll start with the blue, because I have a feeling the blue might be the one that requires the most coats. Add a decent bit on there. I don't know if you can see. It's a little hard to get the whole thing. Yeah, there's the blue. Hey, look at that. As long as you can see what I'm painting, I guess that's kind of the important thing. So just want to dab the brush in the blue and kind of like this. Kind of like, nibble at it with the brush a little bit, because you don't want too much on the brush itself. And then I'm just going to kind of come in here and brush along the outer edges of the area, almost like I'm using a pencil, and that'll kind of give me an idea of the defined area for the blue. And because of the angle, I am Getting a little sloppy with this. But it's okay. Because once we add the black wash and all the other detailing, it won't be a big deal if we go over a little bit. Alright, it's still gonna say BoomCo. I did not sand off the logo. It's not something I typically do. Just, you know, for a couple of reasons. Well, one is because my my Dremel has gone missing that I normally use to sand things like that. I don't know if it was, you know, the last time I moved it just went missing, or if somebody borrowed it and has not yet returned it to me, but also because it's a lot easier to explain to someone, you know, outdoors, you know, at a convention or whatever. It's a lot easier to say, hey, look, the logo's still on here. This is a you know, this is a Nerf gun. I painted it. It's not it's not dangerous. Obviously, most of those conventions make you remove the internals or the triggers or things like that, so that's something you want to be aware of as well. Which this could be a problem with these BoomCo blasters, since they don't really let you remove the internals because it's all glued together. It's something BoomCo should bear in mind, especially with their line of Halo blasters and things like that. It's really could be really detrimental for people maybe wanting to do a Halo cosplay, to not be able to actually get those blasters apart. I don't know if they're all the same way, if they're all glued together, but I know this one is. That's for sure. And it's annoying. Alright, so there's coat number 1 on that part, and we're going to do this little bit up in here as well. And I'm not sure, but it almost looks like... Let me double check here. Nope, that's okay. There's actually molded detail in there. That's kind of weird. Oops, I'm making a mess. Making a mess over here off camera. Alright, here we go. Alright, we'll just leave this little black part in the middle. I'll kind of bring this up and around here just to make it a little easier on myself, because I'm going to get in these little nooks and crannies, as it were. Reason would have dictated that I switch to maybe a smaller brush. That probably would have been a great idea, but a little laziness prevailed there. But that's alright, it looks fine. So you can see we've got our little Jim Jam of blue, and I think that really actually serves to make it look much more Optimus Prime-y overall. So we're going to go ahead and flip this guy over. And we're going to start on the other side doing the same exact thing. Get our brush in there. I don't know if you can see this alright. Yeah, you should be able to. Alright, let's see what we've got. There we go. Yeah, it's weird molded details in this thing. I don't quite understand them all, but that's alright. And I may, like, when we do our black wash, I may actually even add a little bit more black into the space in between just to darken it up. Because it does have a lot of overspray from the silver. Which is fine, because I did that not really knowing what color I was going to ultimately do for this section. Now there is a molded line here, but it's very, very small, like very low. This, of course, has all the cautionary stuff on it. This I probably could have erased, but I honestly didn't notice it was here until now. I just don't really pay attention to that stuff so much, so that's fine though, not a big deal. This big blob of blue in the center here. I like it when you get all the edges done. You can get a little sloppy with the center. You don't have to worry quite as much. Let's get this outline all settled. There we go. And we can do this. I'm hoping by the time I finish painting this, the other side will be dry, or at least mostly dry, to the point where we can add another coat on there. That would make me very happy. And we've got just a tiny little bit sticking out here on the end that I would like to just top off here. There we go. That works. So we're just going to let that start to dry. We're going to flip this over and see that, oh yeah, look, it's mostly dry on this side. So we're going to go ahead and clean our brush. Let me get a paper towel here. The big chunks on the other side should keep the blue from actually touching anything, so it has a chance to dry completely without any interference. So we're going to grab this brush, which is a nicer material. I'm not exactly sure what material it is. Oh, it just says 74 flat, but it's a decent material. Oop, getting a little crazy with the camera. Yeah, so it's nice and large and wide and flat, so it should be able to just give us a nice bit of paint coverage. Yeah, that's perfect. So we can really start adding coats to this with a quickness. Now we already got the edges and things like that, so we don't have to worry about that, which is great. And I don't have to get quite as intricate with this as I did before. I can kind of just slap it on there. Just make sure it's not, not pooling anywhere. Which, if you leave the logo on, it's going to want to start pooling between the letters and things like that. So just keep an eye out for that. Just dab it a little bit. Get that excess paint back up onto the brush. And once you get a couple of coats, you can go back and do the edges again, but the edges should not take nearly as much effort because you're just kind of, you know, they're not as visible, and plus you're going to be adding, you know, the stressing and all that kinds of stuff to them later, so they will not be that terribly visible. So there we go. We're getting a nice blue color going there. Get just a little bit more. And there. Let's check the other side, see how it's coming along. Still a bit longer for it to dry on this side, so we're gonna move along to another color probably. Let's maybe start thinking about this red. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this red. So as you can see, with the red, there's a lot that we did not get. It's like not going all the way down into those parts and things like that. So there's going to be some areas where we want to give a little fix to. And we've still got some tape on here as well. So we'll just get that real quick. So we're going to try a red that I have and hope that it kind of matches up. It's called, oop, there we go, Naphtha Crimson. So we'll see how it goes. Again, it's just going to be on the edges, so if it's a little darker, a little off, I'm not going to fret it too much. It looks like a fairly decent match. Again, I don't honestly know if this is even going to be any good. Huh. Well, I can tell you right now, I don't know how far it goes, but there's at least a chunk of solid paint in there. Yeah, well, I mean, I can see that there's paint. There's liquid paint in there, so let's see. Let's pull this off. Alright, so there's obviously a plug in there. How far down it goes, I don't know. Oh, there we go. And it looks like there's even more. Yeah, I think this one might be a completely lost cause, actually. Yeah, I don't know if you can see down in there, but that paint is quite solidified. Alright, well, I do not have this Naphtha Crimson after all. Alright. So let's put this in the trash where it belongs. Eventually. And let's do a quick look here in my drawer o' paints for some more red paint. Let's see what we've got. Alright, well, let's try, Alright, I've got Old Christmas Red. Let's see if Old Christmas Red is anything close to what we're dealing with. It doesn't really... No, it really doesn't look very good, but... It's a much more orangey red than this is, but we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it looks. Actually, it looks rather pink, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know about this one, guys. Let's see. Any other reds up here? There's a metallic blue. Maybe we'll use that for something. Let's see here. What's this guy? Oh, that's metallic red. Canyon is probably going to be very orange as well. Apple Spice. Yeah, I think let's... Alright, I'm going to try this dark red and see how this works. If it works. It actually doesn't look... I mean, it's not an exact match, but it might be enough to get by with just the, you know, just the edges and things like that. So we'll give it a shot. Actually, wow, that's actually a really good match. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a really nice match. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. And we gotta just be careful because the blue is still drying. But we should be able to go. And it looks like the color goes on pretty strong on the first go, so we shouldn't need more than 1 or 2 coats with this. And that'll make me very happy. Just make sure you can't really see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. It's very, very difficult to kind of keep the camera all settled in. Oh, that's I overshot it a little bit there. That's okay. We're gonna have to go in over this part and kind of clean that up as well. But so far, I mean, so far it's working out really well. I'm very pleased with how this is turning out, so that's cool. Cool. Alright, here we go. Get in here. Make sure the camera is centered while you're still trying to get your big head in there and see what you're doing. It's a balancing act, for sure. But yeah, I mean, so far it's working like a treat, so pretty great. We're gonna go ahead, tilt this guy up like so. I think you guys can see it just fine from there as well. There we go. All right. There we go. Let's try for the back end as well here. This is going to be a little more tricky. A little more tricky to keep in the camera and have you guys see what I'm doing. Hold on 1 second. Put this back. Pull these pieces out of the way. Can you kind of sort of see that? I realize this may be outside the camera's viewing ability right now, but it looks pretty much just like all the other painting that I've been doing. There we go. Well, it actually does go all the way through. I didn't even... Yeah, this will probably need 2 coats, but I think only 2. Looks pretty good. Alright, I'm going to let that dry completely. Let's for a minute. You can see that's actually starting to coat very nicely. So that's really, really, really good. I was genuinely concerned about that. We've got just this back end here a little bit. Alright, so we've got our blue, we've got our red started. I'm going to go ahead and try and just knock out the red on this other side here. So I'm going to pause it for now, and then we'll let this, dry up, and then I'll see you guys in just a moment.